Well, hello guys, here Mr. G with another video about the stoichiometric for the grade 11s, applicable also to the grade 10s and somehow to grade 12. So in this case, the question said 48 grams of carbon and 384 grams of sulfur are combined and carbon disulfide is formed. Which reactant is in excess and what mass of carbon disulfide is formed? Now, in this case, the first thing we need is the equation. They are not giving us the question, they are telling us in words what is the reaction. So, we have carbon. Carbon, remember, is just a C, and this carbon reacts with sulfur, which is just S. They are not diatomic molecules or atoms or anything like that. And this one will give you the combination, which is carbon disulfide, and that one will be CS2. When you balance this equation, it's quite simple. You can see that you have two sulfurs and therefore you have to add the 2 at the front. This one is the chemical reaction we have. In previous videos, we learned how to determine the limiting reagent or the excess reagent. Is either one is the same. In this case, we have to get the excess reagent and we have to get the mass of carbon disulfide that is formed, and that one will be using the limiting reagent. So saying that, we're going to begin. Remember, step 1 was to calculate the number of moles of each reactant, and that is quite simple. So for carbon and for sulfur, let's write it, or let's work separated like this. For carbon, what we have the mass. Mass is equal to 48 grams. We're looking for the number of mole of carbon, guys. According to what we have, number of mole is equal to mass divided by molar mass of a carbon. This is quite simple. It is 48 divided by 12, and that will give me 4 mole. Very easy. Now for sulfur, we have, according to the data, the mass is equal to 384. It's quite a large mass compared to the mass of carbon. And then you have to calculate the number of mole. We're using the same formula. Number of mole is equal to 384 divided by the molar mass of, let's write the formula. Mass divided by molar mass is 384 divided by the molar mass of sulfur, guys, and that one will be 32. You get that this one is 12 mole. Now remember, this amount does not tell you which one is in excess yet. You still have to go to the ratios. So the next step is just find the ratio, and I'm not going to do both options. You can do both options if you want. Okay, but either one, you have to say a ratio, and then the ratio is going to be, or the ratio that we are looking is ratio of carbon to sulfur, and the ratio is 1:2. Just for you to recall, the ratios are the numbers at the front. In this case, we have 1 for carbon, we have 2 for sulfur. They're giving us in the chemical equation. Note, if the chemical equation is not balanced, we already starting with the wrong foot. So we are going to say the following. We have 4 mole of carbon. How much moles of sulfur will I need? And I'm going to do a very easy peasy cross product here. When I do that, I get that the number of mole is going to be equal to the product of 4 times 2, which is 8 mole. So what it means that 8 mole? That if we have 4 of carbon, which is the amount we actually starting with, we need 8. However, we don't have 8, we have 12. We have more than the ones we need. Therefore, the sulfur is going to be in excess. And that is the answer of the first question. Sulfur is the reagent that is in excess. And without saying much, it means that the carbon is the limiting reagent. Be careful, because in this question, they're asking you for the excess. So the correct answer is actually sulfur. sulfur will be the question. The question say which one is in excess. In this case will be sulfur. Sulfur is the reagent that is in excess. And now they ask you to the mass of carbon disulfide that can be formed. How much of carbon disulfide can be formed in a mass? Because they say calculate the mass. How much of this one can be formed? Now to do that one, we have to use the limiting reagent, which in this case is the carbon. So we are going to work with this today, and it's quite simple because the ratio is 1:1. So we go here and we are going to say ratio of carbon to carbon disulfide, and the ratio is 1:1 according to the Valence chemical equation. So now we are going to substitute the number of mole of carbon, which is the limiting reagent, is 4. So if we have 4 mole of carbon, let's write the unit as well. 4 mole of carbon, how much carbon disulfide will I get? And I'm going back once more to the cross product here. So in this case it's 4 because the ratio is 1:1. It's quite simple. It's equal to 4 mole. So guys, we're going to calculate the mass of carbon disulfide using once more the formula of number of mole, mass divided by molar mass. For carbon disulfide here we are, and then if you calculate the molar mass of carbon disulfide, which we are going to do real fast here, molar mass for carbon disulfide, there we're going to do it. This one will be equal to 12 plus 2 times 32, and then the molar mass is going to be 76 grams per mole. Guys, if you substitute here, you have that is 4 equal to mass divided by 76. The answer for this calculation of mass is equal to 304 grams. This one is the amount of carbon disulfide we can produce during this chemical reaction with this specific amount of reagent, guys. So that is the end of the story. Remember, this one will be referred as the theoretical yield. In case somebody wonder, this is the theoretical yield. Alright, that is the theoretical yield, and this is the end of the video. Very short, very simple. I hope it helped. I'll see you next time. Subscribe for the channel, thumb up, Mr. G here.